I felt like someone had punched me in the chest. So cowardly to me that I started crying right there. How disgusting. So disgusting of you. So disgusting of both of you. I already imagine they did it in the back seat of the car and he didn't even bother to clean it to hide it. It's devastating. It gives the impression that he wanted to show it off. It seems like he left it there on purpose, and I felt like someone had punched me in the chest, like all the air had disappeared. It left me breathless, because even though I suspected, even though I knew deep down in my heart, hearing him confirm it is completely different, people. I started to uncover this story that devastated me for a while when I got in the car to go for a walk and my dog acted strangely like I'd never seen before. My dog is freaking out. He's standing at the car door barking and he won't get in. Won't even put all four paws inside. He's got his front paws on the floor mat and his back paws still on the driveway and he's sniffing something under the passenger seat. Sniffing and scratching and whining. And this is so weird because Rocky loves the car. He goes absolutely crazy when I grab the keys. He runs to the door wagging his tail, jumping up and down like we're going to Disneyland. But right now he's acting like there's a bomb under that seat. And I'm standing there in my driveway trying to pull him in by his collar and he's resisting. He's a German Shepherd, so he's strong, really strong, and he's planted his back legs and he will not budge. And I'm like, Rocky, come on boy, we need to go. We're going to be late for the vet appointment. But he just keeps barking at this one spot under the seat. And finally I give up trying to force him and I lean in to see what he's so obsessed with. What could possibly be under there that's making him act so crazy? And that's when I see it. There's something shiny wedged way back under the passenger seat. Something small and gold. And I reach under and I pull it out and it's an earring. A really expensive looking earring. Diamond stud in a gold setting, the kind that probably cost a few $100 at least. And I'm standing there holding this earring thinking this isn't mine. I don't own earrings like this. I don't own any earrings actually. Because I don't have pierced ears. I tried to get them pierced when I was like 8 years old and I had such a bad allergic reaction. My ears swelled up huge and got infected. And it was terrible, so my mom said no more piercings and I never tried again. So this earring definitely isn't mine, and my stomach just drops because I know what this means. Someone else was in my car, some woman was in my car, and based on where this earring was, wedged under the passenger seat, she wasn't just sitting there, she was doing something that would make an earring fall out and get kicked under the seat, and I feel sick. I feel like I'm going to throw up right there in my driveway. For me, this story was absolutely unbelievable, and I still can't believe it happened to me. I still can't believe that the person I trusted most in the world did this to me. So my name is Jessica. It's not my real name, but I'm using it here. I'm 29 years old, and this happened about 4 months ago in Nashville, Tennessee. I was married to my husband, David, the love of my life, the guy I admired so much, the person I thought about all the time, cared for, gave all my attention to. We had been married for 2 years, and together for 4 years in total before that. We had what I considered a very solid, very happy marriage. We never fought. We had fun together. We had similar goals. We were building a life. And I trusted him completely. I never thought he would cheat on me. I never worried about other women. Maybe I was naive. Maybe I should have been more suspicious, but I wasn't. I simply believed we were happy and faithful, and that was it. David and I met in college. We studied together at Vanderbilt, both majoring in business administration, and we met through mutual friends. One of those friends was a girl named Lauren from our friend group. She was very close to David. They had known each other since their freshman year, had many classes together, studied together, and were like best friends. When David and I started dating, Lauren was very supportive, saying things like, "Oh my God, you two are perfect together. I'm so happy for you." And we hung out all the time, the three of us and other friends, and it was great, really great. Lauren and I also became friends, not best friends, but good friends. Sometimes we texted, had lunch together occasionally, and I never felt awkward about her friendship with David. I never felt threatened, because they were just friends. That's what I thought. That's what David always said. Lauren is like a sister to me. We're just friends. Man and woman, but friends. There's nothing romantic between us. I have a Christian love for her, and I believed him. I believed him every time he told me that. After college, David and I moved to Nashville. We both got jobs. He works in finance at a company called Summit Financial, or something like that, and I work in marketing at Parkside Marketing. And we got this cute apartment together, and then about 2 years into living together, David proposed. He took me to this nice restaurant and got down on one knee. And I was so happy, so excited. I said yes immediately. And we started planning the wedding. And Lauren was there through all of it. She was excited for us. She helped me pick out my dress. He came to my bachelorette party. She was at the wedding. And her daughter Mia, who was 4 years old at the time, was one of our flower girls. She walked down the aisle throwing petals. And she was so cute. Everyone thought she was adorable. And Lauren stood there watching with tears in her eyes, saying she was so happy for us, so proud of us, wishing us all the blessings in the world. And I thought, wow, I'm so lucky to have such a good friend, such a supportive friend, someone who genuinely cares about our happiness. But she didn't care. She was lying. She was standing there at my wedding watching her daughter be my flower girl, while sleeping with my fiancé behind my back, and I had no idea at all. Rocky is our dog. David and I adopted him about a year after we started dating. He was a puppy, small and fluffy with huge ears, and he grew up with us. Now he's 4 years old and is the sweetest, most loyal, and most protective dog in the world. He loves us both, but he's definitely more attached to me. I'm the one who feeds him, walks him, takes him to the vet, holds him in my lap while I watch movies or video lessons, brings him treats when I go to Petco or Walmart, and if I have cramps, he lies down with me and even puts his head on my belly to warm up. I realize he understands that I'm suffering and in pain. David likes Rocky a lot, but he doesn't get very involved in his care, so Rocky and I are very close. Rocky loves car rides. He simply loves them. Every time I get the keys, he runs to the door. Every time we get in the car, he gets super excited, sticking his head out the window and wagging his tail. He's the happiest dog in the world when we're in the car, so when he refused to get in that Tuesday morning in September, I knew something was wrong. I knew immediately that this wasn't normal behavior, that Rocky wasn't being difficult or stubborn, that he was trying to tell me something, and thank God I listened. Thank God I stopped trying to force him in and actually looked at what he was barking at, because if I hadn't done that, if I had just picked him up, put him in the car, and ignored his behavior, I might never have found that earring. I might never have discovered the truth. So, I'm standing in my garage holding this earring and my heart is racing, really racing, and I'm trying to think of logical explanations. Maybe it's from a friend who rode in my car, maybe someone dropped it and I didn't notice, but I know that's not true. I know whose earring this is, even before I admit it to myself. I know deep in my heart who it belongs to. I get in the car, sit in the driver's seat with Rocky still barking outside, and I stare at this earring in my hand, this expensive diamond earring. I'm thinking about who's been in my car recently, and the only person besides me and David is Lauren. She went to a show with me about 3 weeks ago. David was going to, but he said he had to work late and couldn't go. So Lauren and I went together, just the two of us, and she sat in the passenger seat. And now I'm thinking, wait a minute, if this earring belongs to Lauren and it was under the passenger seat, that means she lost it. That happened on another occasion, not when we went to the show. Because how could it have ended up under the seat if she was sitting there? It would have fallen straight down. It wouldn't have been kicked all the way down. So that means she was in my car without me knowing. She was in my car with David. And my hands start shaking, literally shaking. And I call David, I call him at work. And when he answers I say, we need to talk, that he needs to come home right now. And he asks what's wrong, what happened? And I say just come home. I found something. And he asks what I found. And I say I'll show you when you get here. Just come home. And he says okay, I'll be there in 20 minutes, and I hang up and sit in my car. With this earring in my hand and Rocky outside still barking, and I'm trying not to cry. Trying not to break down before I even know for sure what's going on. This will probably sound crazy, but I started searching my car, like, really searching, checking under the seats, in the glove compartment, in the door pockets, everywhere, and I found more things. I found a hair tie in the back seat, one of those with a little bow, it wasn't mine, and a lipstick in the center console cup holder, way in the back, also not mine, a dark red one I would never use. And I kept thinking, how did I not notice these things before? How did I let them slip by? Then I realized that David must have hidden them, put them somewhere I wouldn't see, because I use this car every day. If these things had been in plain sight, I would have noticed, but they were hidden, carefully placed where I would only look if I were specifically searching for something. And that makes it all much worse, much more premeditated. It means that David knew these things were in the car and deliberately hid them, instead of getting rid of them. Which means he was using my car for something he didn't want me to know about, something he needed to hide. Or maybe he didn't even care and just threw them there, leaving everything careless. I don't know. David gets home and he walks into the garage where I'm still sitting in the car. And he says, "What's going on? You sounded upset on the phone." And I hold up the earring and I say, "Whose is this?" And his face, oh my god, his face goes white, completely white. All the color just drains out and he asks where I found this, and I reply that Rocky didn't want to get in the car. He kept barking at something under the passenger seat, and when I looked, I found this. "So whose is it, David?" "That was in my car." And he starts stammering, saying something like, I don't know, I don't know, maybe it's yours." And I insist, "How can it be mine? I don't have pierced ears, David. You know I don't have pierced ears. I've never worn earrings. I'm allergic, and whose earring and these other things are these?" And he says, "Maybe it's one of my friends. Maybe someone dropped it when they were with you." And I remembered that the only friend who rode in my car recently was Lauren, and this was right under the seat. Like someone was lying down or something in the back seat of the car, and this strange dirt on the back seat. "Is this serious, David? I know what this white dirt here on the seat looks like. You had the nerve, so tell me the truth, whose is it?" And he just stood there without saying anything. And I insisted, asking if it was Lauren's. And he didn't answer, and I asked again, already imagining the answer, "David, is this earring Lauren's?" And he saw my expression change, and I wasn't going to leave until I knew the truth. He already noticed my face of indignation and disgust, a lot of disgust. And finally he nodded and said yes, and I felt like someone had punched me in the chest, like all the air had disappeared. It left me breathless, because even though I suspected, even though I knew deep down in my heart, hearing him confirm it is completely different. Hearing him say yes, this is Lauren's earring. I already imagined they did it in the back seat of the car and he didn't even bother to clean it. To hide it, it's devastating. It gives the impression that he wanted to show it off. It seems like he left it there on purpose, I won't lie. It was such a big surprise. So shocking to me that I started crying right there. I started crying and screaming at the same time. I was thinking, how could you do this to me? You cheated on me with Lauren. She was supposed to be just your friend. That's what you always said. She was at our wedding, her daughter was our bridesmaid. David tried to calm me down, saying, "Let me explain. It's not what you're thinking." And I said, "Then what is it, David? Explain to me why your best friend's earring is under the passenger seat of my car. That typical mess, you know what it is. How disgusting. So disgusting of you. So disgusting of both of you." He took a deep breath and said, Okay, I'll tell you everything. Lauren and I have been seeing each other for a while." "And how long is a while?" He said, "I don't know, about 2 years." I stared at him, unable to process what he had just said. 2 years? 2 years? Does that mean the affair started even before we got married? And you've been cheating on me for 2 years? He nodded and said, "Yes. But it's not like that. It's not something trivial or futile, understand? It's not an affair or a betrayal. Lauren and I have a history. We've always had feelings for each other. And I keep thinking, so why did you marry me? Why did you propose if you had feelings for Lauren?" And he replies, "Because I love you too. I love you both, and I can't. I simply can't believe what I'm hearing. He's there telling me he loves us both. As if that would make things better. As if that would make me feel less betrayed. And how is that not betrayal? David, you married me. You're now sleeping with another woman, with your friend, and you're telling me that's not betrayal? Does that make any sense? Can I just say, and maybe this is gonna sound harsh, but I don't care, Lauren is trash. She is absolute trash for doing this. She stood at my wedding and smiled and hugged me and congratulated us, while knowing she was sleeping with my husband, while knowing she'd been sleeping with him for months already at that point. Her daughter was our flower girl. Her daughter walked down the aisle throwing flowers at a wedding that was built on lies. And she didn't care, she didn't feel guilty, she just kept doing it, kept seeing David behind my back, and I hate her. I really, really hate her for that. For being so fake, for pretending to be my friend while betraying me in the worst way possible. And you know what? If you're watching this and you've been through something similar, if someone you thought was your friend betrayed you like this, comment below and tell me I'm not alone. Tell me other people understand how much this hurts. Because it's not just losing your partner, it's losing your free. And 2, it's losing to people you trusted at the same time, and that's twice the pain. David is still trying to explain. He's saying Lauren and I tried to end it so many times but we couldn't. We have this connection. We've known each other for so long. And I'm like, you have a connection. What about our connection, David? What about our marriage? What about the vows you made to me? And he says, I know I messed up. I know I should have ended it. And I'm like, you should have never started it. You should have broken up with me before you married me if you wanted to be with Laura. And he says, I didn't want to hurt you. And I start laughing. I'm actually laughing because that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. You didn't want to hurt me, so instead you married me while having an affair. You thought that would hurt less. And he doesn't have an answer for that. He just stands there looking guilty. I asked David to show me everything, every text message, every email, every secret meeting. I wanted to know the full extent of the betrayal. And at first he refused. He said it would just hurt me more, but I said I don't care. I need to know. I need to see exactly what you've been doing behind my back. So he got his phone and he showed me, and what I found was worse than I imagined, way worse. Because they didn't just hook up occasionally, they had a whole relationship. They texted every day. Hey said I love you. They made plans for a future together. And there were pictures of them together that David never showed me. Pictures from trips they took when he told me he was traveling for work. And I'm scrolling through all of this and I feel like I'm in an alternate reality. Like I'm reading about someone else's life, but it's my life. It's my husband, and he's been living this double life for 2 years right under my nose. The worst part, the absolute worst part, was finding out about the wedding. Finding out that they hooked up the night before our wedding. David and Lauren slept together the night before he married me, and when I found that text, when I read Lauren saying last night was amazing. I can't believe you're getting married tomorrow. I wish it was me. I threw his phone across the garage. I literally threw it and it hit the wall and the screen cracked. And I said, you slept with her the night before our wedding. The night before you promised to be faithful to me for the rest of your life. You were in bed with her. And David just stood there not saying anything because what could he say? There's no excuse for that. There's no explanation that makes that okay. Sorry, I'm stopping the recording quick. I need to get some water. My throat is so dry. Okay, I'm back. So David is standing there and I'm crying and screaming and Rocky is going crazy, barking and jumping around because he can sense I'm upset. And I say I want a divorce. I'm done. I can't stay married to you after this. And David starts crying too. He's like, please don't leave me. I love you. I'll end things with Lauren. I'll never see her again. We can go to counseling. We can work through this. And I'm like, work through this? You've been lying to me for 2 years, David. You married me while having an affair. You let Lauren's daughter be our flower girl while you were sleeping with her mother. That's sick. That's disgusting. There's nothing to work through. And he's begging now, actually begging, saying, please, Jessica, don't throw away our marriage. We can fix this. And I say our marriage was never real. It was based on lies from the beginning. How can we fix something that was broken before it even started? And he doesn't have an answer. He just keeps crying and saying he's sorry over and over again. Like that's supposed to change anything. I called Lauren that night, after David left. Yes, I kicked him out. I told him to pack a bag and go stay somewhere else. I didn't care where. Just get out of my house. And after he left, I called Lauren, and when she answered, I didn't even say hello. I just said, I found your earring. And there was silence on the other end of the line, complete silence. And then she said, what earring? And I said, the diamond stud that was under the passenger seat of my car. The one you lost when you were sleeping with my husband in my car. And she starts crying. She says, oh my God, Jessica, I'm so sorry. I never wanted you to find out like this. And I'm like, how did you want me to find out, Lauren? Were you planning to tell me? Or were you just going to keep sleeping with my husband indefinitely? And she says, it's not like that. David and I, we love each other. We've loved each other for years. And I say, then why didn't he marry you? Why did he marry me if he loves you so much? And she says, because he was confused. He thought he was supposed to marry you. You were the good choice, the safe choice. But he's always loved me, and hearing her say that, hearing her call me the safe choice, it makes me so angry I can barely see straight. And I say, you were at my wedding, Lauren. Your daughter was my flower girl. How could you stand there and watch us get married knowing you were sleeping with him? And she says, I know. I know it was wrong, but I couldn't help it. I love him. And I say, you're disgusting. Both of you are disgusting. And I hang up and I block her number, and I never want to talk to her again. Never want to see her again.